So yesterday we talked about, the overall organization of the United Nations, and I mentioned the Security Council, and how the Security Council arose out of the idea of the four policemen that Roosevelt had in World War II, after World War II, to kind of rule and keep track of the world. Because remember, one of the failures of the League of Nations was that the United States, the most powerful army in the world at the time, was not a member. So the idea was, well, the League of Nations failed because no big countries had the power to run the rest of the world. And that's where the idea of the four policemen came, which evolved into the Security Council. The Security Council, it was originally 10 members. It was later expanded to 15 in 1965. 5 members are permanent members. Okay, without looking, who can tell me the permanent members?
Can I look at my notes?
No, just off the top of your head.
Alright, Soviet Union, China, US, yeah, UK.
UK, that's 4. French, very good. A little help from over here, that's all right. Yes, the 5 permanent members are the United States, the United Kingdom, Russia, Soviet Union doesn't exist anymore. But good job. China and France. 10 members of the Security Council are elected from the General Assembly for 2-year terms. And they're elected, remember when we talked about how the General Assembly is divided into regional groups? One member from each group is elected every year, and they serve a 2-year term. And then the next year, another member from each group is elected again. Does everybody understand how the elections occur in there? Okay. Okay, election of non-permanent members, as I just stated, they're elected 5 from African and Asian states, 1 from Eastern European states, 2 from Latin American and Caribbean states, and 2 from Western European and other states. And when we say Western European and other states, does anybody remember from yesterday why it's Western European and other?
Israel.
Israel. Very good.
Israel.
Okay, the Security Council can meet at any time, and they have the authority to order compliance from the body with their resolutions. The permanent members also have veto power. And we kind of talked about this yesterday. Who can kind of summarize what it means that they can order compliance? If the Security Council votes that, for example, today we vote, we're going to take military action against Iran. What does that mean to everybody else who's not in the Security Council? What is compliance? Compliance, think it is comply. I want you to comply with my directive. Yeah, you're going to have to follow it, basically. So when they order compliance, when they can order compliance, what does that mean?
You have to go along with it.
Yeah, it means the other nations, whatever the Security Council says, the other member nations of the United Nations, regardless of whether they're on the Security Council to make that vote or not, have to go along with it. And that's kind of, the way the United Nations works is kind of the same way maybe any group works, groups of people at school or anything. And kind of what I want you to think about as we go through this is think of a situation here at UHI. Think of maybe prom. And there's maybe one really rich, popular student, and the student council plans a dance or prom. But because this one student doesn't like it, the plans are scrapped, even though everybody else in the school is real excited about it. Now, does that seem fair?
No. Just kidding.
How about if the one popular student, or your parents, how about your parents, Drew? They've donated the majority of the money, and they've done a lot of the time and planning for like the chicken dinner that's coming up to fund after prom, and they decide this, and maybe there's one group of parents, let's say Jenna's parents, they showed up for maybe 10 minutes at the beginning, gave a couple ideas, then left. All of a sudden they show up near the end and say, we don't like this, and so you have to scrap everything. Is that fair?
No.
How about if your family is expected to donate the majority of the money to the prom? Odessa, Melissa, your family's expected to donate the majority of the money to the prom, but they don't have any say in how prom is going to be organized or what's going to be done. Is that fair to your families? And that's kind of some of the issues that the United Nations faces with the Security Council. Because when the permanent members, the 5 that Keegan pointed out, they all have veto power. And what is the veto power? Keegan, I'm going to give someone else an opportunity. I'll pick on something. Taylor, what is the veto power?
To not take one of the votes, maybe, like if someone votes, they can change it or like overrule it?
Overrule them? Cody, does anybody want to expand on that? Overrule them is a good place to start. And I'm not ignoring you. I'm going to try to get other people involved. Chris, you sit back there kind of quiet.
I don't know, we can kind of like overrule that idea.
Right. When, like in the United States, when the president vetoes something, what is he doing to a law? Nick? Thanks.
Getting rid of that, denying it's passed.
Okay. Does anybody else have a definition of veto?
Like,
Nick, call. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Just a second, Nick.
they, like when they veto a bill or whatever, they get rid of it, like it doesn't count anymore.
Right. Nick, did you want to expand on it? What a veto is?
Just like the final. Like the final one to approve it.